AI is evolving fast. Are you ready? Meet AI at FlytBase, your weekly hub to learn, upskill, and stay ahead in AI world. Let's dive into today's session.
Hi everybody, welcome back to another AI in action. Thanks for joining us today at another Thursday. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to everybody joining from around the globe. Hi Baisali, thanks for joining in. And actually Vaishali has asked a very important question in the chat, so do see to that you answer that question in the chat while I go ahead with the rest of the meeting. For those of you who are joining in for the very first time, thanks for joining in. But if you haven't joined our WhatsApp community yet, where we have some very nice active discussions on the recent AI developments and what we can do with AI, then please do scan and join in. With that being said, let's move to the next piece of the agenda, which is the AI news. So what's up during this week? There's a lot of things that's happened, but let's go one by one. The first thing, Adobe. So I'm not sure how many of you use Adobe, but Adobe's Photoshop, Express, and Acrobat. So basically you can edit images, you can do the videos, you can do PDFs, all of it together on ChatGPT. They've brought in this integration and things look great on this video, but I've been reading few of the feedbacks of people using it saying that it's not that great. But do try it out and let us know how it sounds to you and what you've been able to do with this integration. That being said, the next part of the news is Figma. Figma has been trying to do a lot of things with AI and now it has just brought it to another next level. You can right now select different areas and you can do a lot of things around it. So initially you could only tell it what changes needs to be made, but now it's brought in more cool features. I think I like the feature which comes after this. Okay, not this one. This is also great, but not this one. This is not my favorite. This is the favorite one. So right now you can just go ahead and circle an object and then you can just take that object out of that image and place it wherever you want. So it's something great that's come on Figma. I'm very fascinated about it as a Figma user. With that being said, Claude Code, I've always mentioned in most of my news that Claude Code is something that non-developers as well can use, and as a marketer I've been using as well. So sub-agents is something that they had brought in long ago, but right now you can run async sub-agents. So basically a sub-agent can be running in the background and you could be doing various other tasks. So once the sub-agent finishes doing its task, it will tell the main agent that I've finished my task and you go ahead with whatever you want to do next. So that's pretty engaging and that's pretty good feature to bring out. And also context compacting. So context compacting has always been an issue on Claude Code and that's something that they have brought in and they've done a better job at it. And right now you can name your sessions. So that means you can go ahead and they've done something very cool, Santa Claude, but you can name your sessions as such and you can rename and call those sessions and resume those sessions as well. And lastly, they have shipped something called stats, not something very much for us, but to understand how much of money you're spending probably or the credits that you're spending, you might have to check this out. That being said, next thing comes up is Anthropic's new use cases page. So they've brought a page called use cases and let me just walk you through quickly. So over here you have use cases under different departments that they've mentioned. Let's go with marketing, why not? And over here, if you go to this adapt content across platforms, let's say you have a webinar and you need to repurpose the content into various other platform contents, then this is what it does. So it has the complete prompt library, it has what you need to give it, what you need not give it, mostly everything that you need to start your project on Claude. And last but not the least, since we're talking about PPTs today, this is a waitlist thing, but something really amazing. Let's just watch this video. I mean, I would prefer silence while watching this. Now that's pretty cool, right? An entire slide is created. Okay, let's say this is something that we already do. But imagine that you can just tell it add the customer logos and it just directly takes from your website and then it puts the customer logos in there. You don't even have to do that effort. And right now you can just select few areas in it, like I showed in Figma. You can just select those areas and play around in the canvas itself that most of these PPT providers right now don't allow. And that's something amazing. I do not like keep on prompting them and then they don't do the job well. Now at least you can edit it on the canvas. I think both Baisali and I am very happy about these updates, and we are waiting for them to, release this app, and we are also on waitlist. So do let us know if you guys also are joining in, and do let us know how you find it. With that being said, let's move right in. We have Baisali. Hi Baisali.
Hello everyone. Thank you for joining in. I see a lot of faces today. Not faces, but icons of people. Before I start, I just want to quickly go around the room, if possible, on the chat. Just quickly, if you can list out all the problems that you're facing today with slide decks. I asked a question around who hates making PPTs. I think it is pretty much universal and it doesn't need, I don't think anybody I've met so far has said that they've enjoyed making presentations. And, that's just a part of your day-to-day life. No matter how much you want to avoid it, but you still have to make presentations. There is just no way around that somehow today. So anybody has any problems or challenges that they are facing while either creating presentations today or using AI for presentations, if anybody wants, yeah, they are the bane of our existence. I truly agree. And so any questions that you have that you would maybe want me to address right away while I'm giving or walking you through my process of how I've made it simpler or a little more efficient than just creating it from scratch, please put that in so that I can probably also cover that while I'm sharing my thought process. So okay, I'll get started. The last video that Shruti shared around moda.app, which just every AI tool, the video that they promise is that just write a prompt saying that I want to create a presentation deck for XYZ, and the AI just creates this beautiful deck out of nowhere. But somehow, if you've been using AI for a while, you realize that it doesn't give you the output that you want, or it'll just pick up some gibberish content here and there, and something that's not relevant for your audience or the kind of message that you want to convey. So one prompting is out of the picture. We still are yet to see a tool that magically does that. But today, unfortunately, based on my experience so far, if anybody has such great experience using any tool, please let me know as well. It will solve a lot of my trouble as well. So I have not seen any such thing happening. So let me share what I have figured out so far. So again, I think this is commonly shared that it's not a one prompt game. So how I start is just, yeah, everybody is using Gamma. Unfortunately, Gamma is not my favorite tool any longer. I'll show you why. There are much better tools available. So, you know what? This is an artifact that I just quickly created on Claude. Claude is my favorite chat companion. Of course, you're free to use ChatGPT, Gemini, whichever, Grok, whichever is your favorite AI companion. Please feel free to do that. So one thing, instead of jumping right into that prompt window of your slide deck creator, be it in Gamma, because they all provide that option, right? Create with prompts. It doesn't work right at the start, and let me explain how. So what you need first is that have a foundation research of what topic you're covering for your presentation. So for me, very simply what I do is, say for example, I'm going to be showing you a presentation deck that I created for an online event that we do every year. It's our virtual conference called NestGen. We've been doing it for 4 years now. This is going to be a 5th year next year. And I want to create a deck or a pitch deck for inviting the speakers and audience and telling them why they should join and be a part of the event. This is something that you constantly share on calls, and then when you're inviting especially speakers to come in and join and speak. So you need to create some such presentation decks to convince users, right? Apart from having a landing page, especially in meetings when you want to bring that up. So what I started doing is started with a deep research of the event, of the content that I want to create the pitch deck on, which I updated it as a project file. So you should all start working with projects. I'm sure we've covered that quite a few times over in the last session, so I'm not getting into the details, but always start with a project, not a chat. So in the project you have some instructions that you want to give, and for me, for this particular content, I've just created a very detailed 10-pager document or a deep research document. You can do deep research again on any tool of your choice. Every LLM now provides one. And about all the different sessions, all the last 4 years, my learnings, what is the event, every detail about that conference or any topic that you're going to be working on. Have a detailed deep research. Of course, vet it as well. Don't just ask for one step research and whatever it gives and then you insert it. It'll take in wrong data as well. So just vet it once, and once you have that deep research file ready, just insert it in your project file. The next step that you will work on is, again, without jumping into creating or execution of the presentation deck, start with generating the content or the copy that you need for your deck. So it's not again a one-step game. So you start having that conversation. By copy, I mean exactly the copy you want it to represent. So what is if it's a 10-slide deck, what each slide should talk about? What is the title? What is the body copy? What kind of, what details do you want to put in that slide deck? How do you want to, just forget about visually representing it at this point of time. Just focus on the content that you want to deliver on each slide. Remember, this is something that I have noticed, and I'm not sure if all of you have noticed as well, but AI generally generates a lot of text heavy content. So if you start asking for slides, it will just create a deck with a lot of text, no graphics, because graphics is not its forte at this point of time. So it will just create a lot of text heavy content. So you might want to have that constant chat with AI to reduce the content, reduce the amount of the jargons or the text heavy content that it creates. And then of course you want to change any changes in the title, content, whatever. You just have that full chat discussion with AI and get that done. So once you're sure that this is what my content should be, you can just ask it to generate an MD file or a PDF. All of the tools LLMs can do that. So now you have like a decent 10-slider content. For me, 10 slides was important, that what I want to cover. So I now have created a complete deck copy. From the copy front, I have it covered. Next step is, because today we are not just talking about generating presentations, but we are also talking about how to maintain your brand identity or your brand guidelines for the deck, right? So it doesn't stop here. So the next step that you need to do is then start working on your layout for content or the design guidelines. So there are two approaches in which I usually do it. And all tools operate in different manners. So for me, the first approach is you must already have a mood board in place. Like, this is how my design or a frame design should look like, or you already have a brand kit in place for your particular organization. For me, in NestGen, we already did have a brand guideline because it's already an established brand. So I, for example, had a presentation template that I wanted it to use. So I just uploaded that presentation template. It's not loading here. But for me, I wanted it to retain this particular template that I already have from beforehand. And then ask it to visually or textually depict what it sees in that visual representation. So for me, it tells me everything, that what is the color change, what is so let me just pull up what is the most important thing here. So it will tell you so you generate what kind of gradient to be used, what is it, what are the hex codes that you're going to be using, what is my font, what is the title font, what is the subtext font, what is the body copy font. So everything you put it in words as well, apart from having a visual representation, and then you can generate it with examples. So how you want to, do you want to have a content slide with bullets, do you want to have it a title slide, two column slide, all that you can share, and you can create these different kinds of prompts which is visually which has all the visual or the brand guidelines in place as well. So now you have two separate MD files to work on. One is your copy and the other MD file is just a markdown file. You can have a PDF, you can have any other formats that are supported. The design and as well as the copy. So once you have that, then you start now working with any of your PPT tool maker that of your choice. So I'll show you some of the tools that I use, and all of them have different use cases. All of them can be used at different points or places. Everybody has a favorite. So but I use it in different for different use cases. So let me show you one. So the first thing, people love Gamma for some reason, or maybe they've just done a great job at marketing. So this is what a Gamma output initially started looking like. So this Gamma does not have a ability to import design guidelines as such. You can of course have a theme, you can edit a theme, you can create a theme here, but it still follows. Even if you import a file, it still doesn't do a great job. You will have to get back to the basics, and it will create a very boilerplate kind of a template. I have not gotten, this is still better than doing it from scratch. I 100% agree. There is no way, there are two ways to it. You can do a great job with Gamma as well if you just want to have a presentation for the internal team, or for anybody that does not really care about your brand guidelines, your brand image as much. But especially some brands, when we want to create or maintain that identity, we want to be very particular about it. So honestly, in my opinion, I don't enjoy Gamma at all. While the thing that happens is, if instead of using it as a prompt, now the copy MD file, which I created just for the content, has now kept it. You can preserve that content as it. So it will not start hallucinating and generating new content. It already has the copy that I have worked on in my Claude project. So now it knows exactly what kind of content I want to be able to put on the slide deck. It will not bring in new content, or it will not recreate content. So there you are safe in that aspect. But then of course this is not the kind of presentation we want. Anybody else has any questions regarding Gamma that you want me to address at this point before I move on to another slide? Yes, struggle with font size, I heard that. So that's where you need to create your visual document as well, so that you give exact specifications of what font size for it to maintain in the title as well in the description. And I'll tell you an app that does a great job, and we've always been talking about it. Yes, so I already see it in the comments saying that Genspark is really nice. So yes, my next favorite tool is going to be Genspark. Now if you see Genspark, this is one of the presentation decks that I created. It is so close to what I wanted, and so close to the kind of presentation deck that I have. So what I did, like I shared before, just let me pull that out. NestGen 26 theme. Sorry. So no. Just give me a minute.
Just put 25, right? Like the old one will come up.
No, I just share. Yeah. So what I did is I also created a template or a theme in which I wanted to create the presentation. So if you want to have mostly backgrounds and gradients are something that you can't really put in a presentation that you're generating with AI, right? So what I did is I have this particular visual hierarchy or the template that I wanted, the fonts, everything. So you usually can import this as well in any project, and then based on this or your mood board. So my design file was primarily generated through this. So I already had, I also had what needs to be written in the footer, and that also was a part of the MD file. I can share it with you as well in a while, like just show you what was included in the file. And the logo, the placements, everything, I put it in a PPT template, and then I inserted or added it onto my Genspark from the start, right before I started working on it. So if you can see, in the first aspect only, I gave it my copy design file, my design file with visual design file with templates, the prompt for again what kind of visual design structure should it maintain, the branding, the logo, and also the background. Why is this background important instead of the template? So Genspark also has the ability to add a template. Like you can just, and if you go to AI slides, you can just add your template. So I tried uploading my own templates, but it doesn't do a great job. So I'll show you one other template that I had uploaded a while ago for creating this presentation. So as you can see that it has messed it up, like it is taking it as an image, as a background, and then it has just the content is now overlapping. Is it visible? I think you can see, right? So yeah, as you can see that now there's a lot of it's not, there's just too much happening, right? So it's important that you give a blank background which you want according to your theme, and give the elements separately, and include all of this. Like, for us, we have at the footer, brought to you by FlytBase, think inside the box, hashtag. So include all of this in your MD file or in the content itself. And now you can see that with the new layout that I gave, it has created a much better presentation, much cleaner. It has emphasized on all the different elements that I want. It's just not loading yet. Yeah, so it has now maintained it. It has created, there are a few edits that are required. Like for example, the logo is now not transparent. Of course, see, you have to work at, like AI is still at its 80%. It will not be. Sorry, I couldn't hear you. Sorry, is this something that you were, is anybody telling me something, or should I continue? Okay, I'll just go ahead. So yes, as you could, sorry, I just lost my chain of thought. Where was I? Yeah, so as you can see that now your slide deck has a lot of more consistency or brand consistency from what you started off with. And the best part about Genspark is you can also export it as a PPTX, Google slide, and then you have a lot of edit capabilities. Genspark also has an AI editor, like an advanced AI edit. For example, a lot of times you'll see there's layout issues where it's overlapping text and content. So you can now do all of that. It does a good job at it. If you think there's a lot of content, like for me, this slide I still feel has a lot of content, you can just either polish it in auto mode, or you just say that reduce content, add grid layout, and then it will take some time, but it will do a good job, a decent job at it. So definitely this is one of the tools that I still use today to generate my decks, and if you follow this proper structure, then it'll be much better for you. Otherwise, if you generate it right with one single prompt, you will have to do a lot of iterations, and the more iteration you do at the execution stage, it tends to hallucinate more. Like it will not listen to you, and then you'll be like, why isn't AI listening to me? So that has happened to us as well. So that's Genspark. I also wanted to tell you about the tool that we used to use long ago called Notebook LM. I don't know how many of you still use it. But Notebook LM's done a good job in making slide decks. There's just one caveat here, is that it is non-editable, so it just generates a full presentation by itself. But I still follow the same process. I use all my files that I've created before, And then say for example, I want to start creating the slide deck. I'll give you one example. So this is now with all my content, and there's another file which I have barely any content. I've just given the copy and I just gave a template file. I've not visually described it as to how I want the slide deck to be. Without any visual, I just uploaded the template, but it doesn't read the template as well as much as the prompt. If you upload it as a prompt or describe the visual visually how you want to showcase it in an MD file or any PDF file, it doesn't. So my output was something like this. If you see, it has no brand recognition, nothing, like it just random colors it has picked up from somewhere. It has done like a very bad job. Of course, I'm never going to use this. So at this step, there are two stages. That is, you leave and you move on to Google Slides, PPTX, and start doing it from scratch. Or like I tried this way where I again inserted the visual, my design template, the MD files, the content. And now if you see, it has done a pretty good job from the beginning. Like it has now started understanding my template, what I want to show. Of course, it has again failed at certain areas where it has not kept my logo, the consistency, the fonts. This is, as compared to Genspark, you still see is far behind. Genspark has now been able to, it can now retain my text sizes, everything from right from start. But this still does a better job once you also describe your the design bit. And again, let me show you some of the other generations, then you can work on it. If it's like, for me, the logo was not there from the second slide onwards, right? So then I again tried to recreate it. Now it's also done a decent job. Again, it has not been able to keep the fonts consistent, but at least my background, the language on which the branding language that I wanted to communicate is somewhere there. One thing that it lacks at this point is no edit capabilities. All of these are pretty much images, and you have zero flexibility in terms of how you want to edit it. Again, if this works really well, see, it gets better every time with some adjustments, micro prompt updates that you want to give. But again, this is not where you want your deck to be. So and no edit capability, so that's a very big problem for us. Now so these are all the 3 different tools. There are also other tools. Gemini also has the ability to create slide decks. We've tried so far, but we don't like the outputs as of now. My favorite tool that we have recently found out and figured is Chronicle. So Chronicle is not exactly a swift or an efficient way to generate slide decks, but it is still better than doing it from scratch in any of the tools that you would have probably done, right? So for example, let me show you, has anybody heard about Chronicle? A show of maybe hands, raise of hands if possible. Okay. Have anybody tried using it? And right, so yes, I'll just show you how it works. The thing is, if you are really specific about your brand design and you want to have a very pretty presentation deck which with a very high aesthetics and like high on point, so then this is one tool that you should definitely check out. Now the difference between this tool and the other tools are that you just enter the content in form of on the slide deck, and it will generate and the MD files. Here, however, you cannot give the visual references. You will have to work on like a little more customization. So this is more hands-on than what it was with the other tools. So, but the benefit about this tool is it now starts creating your slide deck as a form of a landing page. So you can just quickly share this. Once you publish it, you can just share this link with anybody. By publishing, you just get a link, but only people who has access to the link can then open it. But now it's more visually appealing. You have these different edit capabilities. You can just quickly go on to their insert, you can insert paragraphs, headings. Like, it's made it very simple to edit, and it gives you a lot more control over your presentations than any of the other platforms. So for example, I'll just show you one. I'll insert a blank chapter for now, and then once I've done it, I want to show, for example, want to talk about a timeline, right? Or like just recreate the slide deck that I have before. So what it quickly does is you can just go to this and you can edit through any of the diagrams. You can add a vertical, horizontal, and it does a pretty good job. It already brings everything, and everything is editable, right? You can move, you can change content, you can do anything. You can have these layouts, and it is not, you don't have to do all of this manually. So in the initial bit when you're working on the storyboard itself, in the storyline, so I'm just directly working on the slide deck, but I'll just show you right from the start. Just give me a moment while it loads. So you can just create a new document. Again, it has all those steps that you need, like for an AI created, you can either paste a text, generate from a prompt, import content. So what I usually do is import the content directly. So if I already have that MD file or the PDF file, right? So I will just quickly go there, upload the file from my copy that I had already created, the design file, and then it will start creating a storyline. So it already does from a content copy side, you already have the layouts and sections ready. It's not like Google Slides where you have to write everything from scratch. But then it also has a lot of editing capability, which a lot of designers, marketers would want to have it in their control. And if not, then definitely don't go ahead. If you don't have such high requirements in terms of edit capabilities, then just skip this tool and go ahead and use use a tool which is like Genspark or Gamma or Gemini, any of the tool that you refer. All you need to do is follow those steps, then you will be closer to your brand design as compared to just starting off directly from a prompt. So it takes some time, but Chronicle does a good job in, you know, creating those chapters, this document. So for example, I just created one presentation around a leaders retreat that we are planning this year, next year for NestGen in Jaipur. So I quickly could put together this very beautiful presentation through the Gamma. Like all of these elements are there. You can also embed a YouTube video if you want to. For example, I wanted to share him for the weekend song. So, and they are all, you can just quickly play from here. All of these capabilities are not today possible with, you can add Polaroid images, and they are all, so let me just share this link. This is the actual link that you can give. So all these images can, you know, you can interact with the presentation, you can zoom in, zoom out, you can play a video right from here. Like for example, if I want to just play this video, I can just zoom out and, okay, I need to stop this. Yeah, so the lot of capabilities you can have, like Polaroids, images, these sections, they're pretty easy to edit. So that's a little about, same thing I was trying to recreate for the other presentation as well, which is our NestGen online conference. Again, I want to give the keynote, previous year's keynote in it, so you just embed that video, testimonials, and all of these layouts are available. They also have a lot of their layouts themselves. So for example, if I insert, at this point it's looking like I'm talking on behalf of Chronicle, but honestly I just enjoy, they don't even know that I'm such a big fanboy, but I just enjoy. So they've also have these templates. So a lot of things like problems, insights, if you want to have talk about like some testimonials, you want to showcase some testimonials. So they already have these ready templates. You just insert it and go ahead with it. But yes, this is not really completely with AI, but it gives you a lot of freedom and flexibility to customize your slide deck the way you want to, and if you want to, that is, if you want to spend that time. Otherwise, the other tools are great enough. So I think, yeah, I covered everything mostly, and like you know, the Genspark slides can then be also imported onto your slide deck. Nano Banana Pro is now available on Google AI slides on Google slides as well. So you can just click on like a button to beautify. It doesn't work that well, but it does a decent job. If you want to just put together some text and want to beautify a slide, it does that as well. So a lot of capabilities have started coming in, but I think this is only going to get better. So yep, that's all I have so far. I don't know if this helped anybody, but if it did, then let me know. And if it so I have a few questions. Can we add animations in text? So I don't think you have a lot of that capability. Chronicle, you can try. They do a good job at it. But the other AI tools, they still create images or like static slide decks. That's why even in the Genspark slide, if you maybe while you're describing your visual brand guidelines and your visual representation for the slides, you can also insert. I tried that for another deck. I was just trying to create this simulation for today's discussion, where in that itself you mentioned that you want an image, placeholder image in each and every slide deck if you want to have graphics or animations. And then when you edit it later in say Google Slides or your Microsoft PPTs, then you can replace those placeholder images, or you can ask it to generate AI based images if it is not particular. For us, we need to be very particular about the images we are using because we need drones, dogs, and they are just not widely available online, so it just creates very random stuff in AI generated, unless you of course again you fix it make it better through prompts, you give it proper references. So a random click generation doesn't work for us. Again, in Nano Banana Pro, we need to show them that this is the docs image, this is the drones image, this is your background, and now make those changes. So that's another session altogether on how to master image generation. But yes, MS PPT is going to become extinct. I don't think anybody would want to use that anymore, and there's already a lot of capabilities, advanced capabilities available, which you can directly create and then make those micro adjustments. Anybody has any questions or any doubts on the process? Do you think that was helpful, or maybe there's a better way in which you've solved this problem? Please feel free to let us know.
You've missed one question by Suresh.
What is the question?
Any tool has the capability to allow adding embedded code?
Chronicle does that. I don't know what is your exact use case. It will of course depend on the use case, but let me show you in Chronicle. So for yes, I think I'll just where was I? I'm just getting lost in all the windows. So for example, this is my presentation. You can just I think it has embed or link, so you can either embed any of these.
You haven't presented yet.
Oh, sorry. What's a webinar without all of these problems?
What's a webinar without a PPT?
Yeah, if you can see, some of the Chronicle one allows you to insert. Where was I? Yeah, insert a widget where it could be like an embed or a link, so you can have an embed code directly. So this is where you can do something. I've not seen it in any other PPT builder so far.
I think you can do it, but it's just that you need to send the embed code and then ask the AI itself to think and embed it.
Embed it, yes, yeah. Yes. So yeah, probably you'll have to chat with Genspark where you paste in the embed code and then ask them to add it to a particular slide.
Yeah.
See, for example, we just also were quickly converting this slide, right, from the previous version. So the previous version looks something like this, very text heavy, and then we just quickly fixed it. So this is a really good tool if you're not like very focused on making it aesthetically pleasing. This is also aesthetically pleasing in my opinion, but yeah, if you want a quick fix and a quite quick PPT, this is the tool that you should go for. And if you want more control and flexibility, then you should try out Chronicle. So these are my top 2 choices for presentation maker so far. I think Notebook LM is also getting there, which should then get into Gemini, but we'll just get to know in a while.
How do you overlay your
What is one go-to AI tool? I just mentioned 2. It depends, of course, on the use case. Genspark and Chronicle. Sorry. Genspark again has easy to, you can create like very easily, like in 10-20 minutes if you have the material ready. Creating it is very easy. And Chronicle if you want more control. Do you have overlay audio file over a video file in Genspark? How do you overlay audio file over a video file? I think you should do that before and then maybe put it in Genspark for your presentation. I don't think you should do that in the AI slides. Okay. Any other questions? Anybody? Otherwise, I think
we have one more question. Genspark also allows flexibility.
Yes, it does. It does. It has a good editing capability as well. So, like I said, Chronicle you should only use when you want to make it very heavily, graphic, heavy, focused on complete like customization. You want more control. Genspark also is good. Like I just showed the AI capability, right? If you remember. In this, we just edited this particular slide deck from the previous one, and then it has micro edit capabilities also possible. So let me AI advanced edit, you can just go there and then you can make changes any which ways. So again, this is still my most, and like you see, I had mentioned that Georama header title, this is the thing, and this is what I want for my inter to be my subtext. All of that is maintained, so it does a pretty good job there.
Cool. I think that's it for the questions. Oh, okay. Sorry, we had one more. Does Genspark allow integration or connected to Claude AI or ChatGPT?
I don't think so, right? Not yet.
Because ChatGPT and Claude AI is already integrated in Genspark, right?
So what I did in Claude, or you can also as well as use Genspark Super Agent and get that done, or you can directly do it in the slide as well. It's just I prefer Claude because it lets me create projects. I don't know. I don't think Genspark has the capability. It right now does. Yeah. So it's just it's the way I've gotten used to using AI. So if you just, let me share my screen again. Yeah, if you see Genspark, you can connect to multiple different tools, and you can have a super agent, or in this, you can just create the slides where first you discuss, you do the research, and you explicitly mention that do not create the slide now, let us first finish the content, or just let us first discuss what the content should be and then create the slide. So you can do the same here as well.
As an active Genspark fan, I would say Genspark is a really great tool, guys. Genspark has Genspark Hub, like you can see on the left panel when she was presenting, and using that you can create projects in Genspark as well, and use abilities of all types of AI tools. And get things done. And I think it was one of the best slide creator at that point of time, like when it had launched, and it's still doing a pretty good job. So yeah, please do try it out. Is there any open source tool? Okay, Genspark only allows one prompt or PPT generation in the free version, so afterwards we have to edit it by writing prompts. We require the free premium version. So is there an open source tool?
Not that I know of. Notebook LM
is
free. You can try that, but if you want like decent presentations, you would probably go ahead and get the premium version. Even for Chronicle, the free version is not that great as the paid version, and it's like $14-15. So I think
Genspark is $20.
Yeah. So it's all worth getting it, because especially people who make a lot of presentations, it's definitely worth, because for me it is. I have to create like tons of presentations daily, I mean, not daily, but on a weekly basis. So, yeah.
Cool.
Plus, Genspark and Chronicle at least is an AI, particularly presentation making tool. So you will be probably just paying it to create fancy presentations. But Genspark, you can use it for a lot of different things. You should try Genspark Sheets for lead gen. We use it for lead gen. Super Agent for a lot of tasks. So yep, sky is the limit there. So you can actually use it for a lot of things. Yeah, I think we are out of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not sure if I'm spelling it right, but Arju, right? Arju, we'll look into it. You are saying the group is full, and in case if we can find a solution for it, we will message you personally. So, yes, thank you everybody. Thanks for joining in. Again, I'll just say the same thing that I said in the beginning for those of you joining in for the first time and would like to interact with us and also the other AI native people in the company and in the group. So do join in this AI community and looking forward to seeing you there. We're having our last Thursday session for the year next week, so don't forget to join in. And it's also going to be something amazing, like how the customer success people are using GPTs and various other agents to solve, customer problems easily. So it's something very interesting. So do join in for the next Thursday session. And with that being said, thank you so much, Baisali, and thanks everybody for joining in. Have a great night, morning, evening, afternoon. Thank you. Bye-bye.